What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another installment in my top 100 players series. Today we'll focus on players 21 to 30. Reminder, subscribe to NBA Uprise, link in description, and let's jump into it. Bam Adebayo has become arguably a top 5 center in the league. He's one of the better defensive players, a guy that can defend on the perimeter, move his feet very well, and then provide some rim protection. And then offensively, he's a gifted passer and a solid finisher around the rim, and a guy who can handle the ball a little bit and provide some skill set at that center spot. Last season for the Miami Heat, he averaged a career-high 19 points per game, alongside 10 rebounds and 3.5 assists. He did average over 5 assists the previous couple of seasons, so there was a downtick in playmaking, but he made up for it with his scoring, shooting 56% from the field and 75% from the free throw line, where he shot 6 times a game. Adebayo has a solid 10-foot floater, but hasn't stretched out his game much beyond that. However, it's still barely 25 years of age. Adebayo has some time to maybe figure out a three-point ball, and if he can do that, then he could unlock another level as a scorer with his ball handling ability. For now, his defensive ability is very valuable, and while his scoring isn't super flashy, it gets the job done. Injuries and flashes of brilliance have defined Zion Williamson's career so far. After 3 seasons, he's only played in 85 games and missed the entirety of last year due to a foot injury. However, the year prior, in 61 games, Zion averaged 27 points per game, 7 rebounds, and almost 4 assists, while shooting 61% from the field and 29% from 3. Zion was physically dominant at only 20 years old in that season, but now at 22, there are some question marks around whether or not he can stay healthy. He's battled some weight issues, and combined with his freakish athleticism, it's created a situation where there's major questions as to whether or not he can stay healthy. But when Williamson does play, his overall strength and athletic ability give him an edge that no one else in the league has. He's super explosive out of awkward situations and in traffic, and at times looks like an absolute monster. He still needs to become a better free throw shooter and a better three-point shooter, but if he can be healthy, he's definitely a top 30 player with the potential to be better. Health is the question mark, though. Despite showing that he can be the number 2 option on an NBA Finals winning team, Khris Middleton still flies a bit under the radar. He's been very consistent for the past 3 seasons, averaging between 20 and 21 points per game. He's averaged 5.4 assists the past 2 years and has hovered right around 6 rebounds. Last season he shot 44% from the field and 37% from 3. That is a downtick in 3-point shooting ability, as he shot 41% the 2 seasons prior. For his career he's right around 39%. So Khris Middleton is a guy that you can rely on to make 3-point shots. He can hit them off the dribble occasionally, but excels as a catch and shoot 3-point shooter, which makes him a good second piece next to Giannis as somebody that can space the floor. However, with the ball in his hands, he's a wing that can make plays for others as well as create shots for himself off the dribble. He likes a mid-range pull-up. He can create space. He's not super athletic, but he's skilled and he's crafty and just simply knows how to get the job done. On the other end, Middleton's a good defensive player that can guard 3 if not 4 positions, making him a really solid all-around player. Rudy Gobert shockingly got traded from the Utah Jazz to the Minnesota Timberwolves this past offseason, where he'll form a frontcourt duo with Karl-Anthony Towns. Last season for the Jazz, Gobert averaged 15.5 points per game, as well as a league-leading 14.7 rebounds, and he led the league in field goal percentage at 71%. He also set a career high, shooting 69% from the free throw line, which is important because he shoots almost 7 free throws per game. But what Gobert is known for is his rim protection and defensive ability, as he's won 3 defensive Player of the Year awards so far in his career. Last season he averaged 2.1 blocks per game, and outside of his rookie year has averaged at least 2 blocks per game in every year of his career. Gobert now heads to Minnesota, where he'll try and make the Timberwolves an elite defensive team. Minnesota has a lot of offensive talent, so if they can figure out things on the defensive end, then they do have dark horse contender potential, and it all starts with Rudy Gobert as their key acquisition. He's not somebody that's going to wow you with his skill level, his post-up game, or his shooting ability. He's never made a 3. But he rebounds, protects the rim, and finishes inside and is a really good lob target. Bradley Beal's career evolution has been interesting. He entered the league as a three-point sniper, shooting above 38% in his first 5 seasons, including 40% in 3 of those 5. However, since then, his three-point shooting has declined all the way down to 30% last season. However, he has made major improvements as a scorer and as a playmaker. Last season, he averaged 23 points per game as well as a career-high 6.6 assists. However, he scored even better than that the previous 2 seasons when he averaged over 30 points per game. At 29 years of age, I'm not sure if the downtick in scoring is due to any decline. It'll be interesting to see how his scoring average potentially bounces back this season, as he'll be going into the same situation he's been in for a while. Still a Washington Wizard, he signed a 5-year, $250 million contract extension this offseason, so he's there to stay. He definitely struggles on the defensive end, and due to his lack of efficiency last year, this is why he's this low on this list, but Beal definitely has the potential to still be a 30-point per game scorer if he's able to remain healthy, as he has been banged up the past couple of seasons. Jalen Brown proved that he could be the number 2 option next to Jason Tatum on a contending team that almost won the finals last year with the Boston Celtics. Last season, Brown averaged 23.5 points per game, 6 rebounds and 3.5 assists while shooting 47% from the field and 36% from 3. He's a skilled scorer that can attack the rim relentlessly, he's a good athlete with a strong frame, and he has the ability to make shots off the dribble. The NBA Finals did expose a bit of a lack of ball handling ability for Brown though, as he struggled to deal with the Warriors' pressure defense in key moments. He did some good in that series, don't get me wrong, but that's the main improvement area for him going this year, is being able to handle elite championship caliber defense with the ball in his hands off the dribble. In the earlier rounds of the playoffs and the regular season though, Brown's ball handling is good enough to make him a high-level scorer that also can play some solid defense. At still only 25 years of age, it'll be interesting to see if Brown has more growth left in him. In his second year, Anthony Edwards showed improvement for the Minnesota Timberwolves as he averaged 21 points per game, 5 rebounds and 4 assists on 44% from the field and 36% from 3. Edwards became more efficient from behind the arc, from inside the arc, and from the free throw line, and also did a better job as a playmaker for others. However, his upside lies in him potentially being an elite go-to scorer, and he definitely has the potential to be a 27 or 28 point per game guy someday. Minnesota won't need that. They have Karl Anthony Towns and D'Angelo Russell. Instead, they'll need Edwards to, of course, score the ball, but also just make the right decision consistently on the offensive end, and then they'll need him to be a good defensive piece. Edwards isn't there yet on that end, but he certainly has the frame and the athleticism in order to be a good defender. If everything breaks right for Edwards, he could definitely be an all-star this season. Zach LaVine has developed himself into one of the most efficient high-level scorers in the NBA. Last season, LaVine averaged 24.4 points per game, 4.5 boards, and 4.5 assists while shooting 48% from the field and 39% from 3. He's had a true shooting percentage above 60% the last couple of seasons. While he did score the ball better 2 seasons ago when he averaged 27 points per game, bringing DeMar DeRozan gave the Bulls another elite-level scorer for LaVine to play more off of, and he did a good job of that. He can cut well, knock down threes, and play in transition, and functions well as a secondary playmaker for others. After averaging 3.5 turnovers the previous 3 seasons, LaVine cut that down to 2.5 last year, and I think LaVine's role on a contending team is that of a number 2 guy. Defensively, LaVine is not good. He might be a little bit underrated, but he's not a positive on that end, but that is the case with most high-level scoring 2 guards. At 27 years of age, LaVine will be trying to make his 3rd All-Star game in a row next season. Kyrie Irving is a curious case. He's still a very, very good player when he plays. The problem is he doesn't really want to play sometimes. In his upcoming contract, Kyrie didn't want to have to play back-to-back games. Basically, you never know when he's going to want a day off. He also missed a lot of time last season due to not being vaccinated and due to vaccine mandates, and therefore he only played in 29 games. However, in those 29 games, he was phenomenal. He averaged 27 points per game and 6 assists while shooting 47% 47% from the field and 42% from 3. Kyrie has shot over 40% from 3 in 5 out of the last 6 seasons and is one of the best free throw shooters in the league, shooting above 91% in the last 3 years. Kyrie is still one of the most skilled players in the league, a phenomenal ball handler with a lot of craft in that regard, and he's one of the best, most creative finishers around the rim in the league, and then he excels hitting jumpers off the dribble from both mid-range and 3. If it was just due to talent, Kyrie Irving would not be in this video. However, I do have to knock him down a few spots given the fact that he's not reliable and you can't trust him to want to play every day. Kyrie's going into the last year of his contract, and it'll be interesting to see how some more turmoil might bubble up to the surface in Brooklyn. It looks like he'll be back alongside Kevin Durant, who requested a trade this past offseason, and it's going to be really interesting to see how this season goes for the Nets and Kyrie. Darius Garland has broke out the past couple of years for the Cleveland Cavaliers, resulting in him being an all-star last season, as he averaged 22 points and 8.6 assists per game while shooting 46% from the field and 38% from 3. Garland has a really good mix of both scoring ability and passing ability and seems to consistently make the right decisions, and that's impressive given the fact that he's only 22 years old. He just signed a max contract extension with the Cleveland Cavaliers. He'll be there for years to come, and now gets to start in the backcourt next to another star in Donovan Mitchell. It'll be interesting to see how Garland functions as the de facto number 2 guy in the Cleveland backcourt, but Garland is the ideal guy to have, a guy who can knock down spot-up threes and then make the right decision when the ball's in his hands as that of a playmaker and a scorer. Given his youth, I can't rule out Garland becoming a top 10 player someday. He certainly has the offensive potential on that end, and while he's definitely not a positive on defense, the Cavs have that covered with arguably the best defensive front court in the league. Garland's an exciting player to watch, and I'm looking forward to seeing what he can do next season. That wraps up players 21 to 30. I'm out of here. Until next time, as always, peace out. Go Blazers.